What's going on, guys? I'm here with Billyflips, 20 years old. He has done $10,862 in sales the last 30 days. No, the last 26 days, 25 and a half days that's precisely how many sales he's done. What profit margin would you say that's at?
So I haven't entered a ton of my stuff back into my tracking spreadsheet yet.
What's it feel like to you?
It smells like when I look at my sales, I'm like, all right, this is 10% bare minimum.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to tell myself, but it's obviously probably closer to 15 or 20.
Yeah, good. So you're making about 15, 20, whatever it is. And you're doing this as a college student. You're about to go back, and you said play soccer?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Source some textbooks from the babes on Tinder.
Yeah, you got to give me some advice on that. I think I want to do put up like a Snapchat QR code, like with lawn signs.
Snapchat's got a lot of potential because people can just send you pictures of the textbooks. But anyway, that's for another day. We got the people here watching you for a reason. They want to know how to make that money. They want to hear about you and your story. So can you talk a little bit about how you got started, how you're getting this bag, and really what's your journey been looking like? You've been doing this for how long? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Look, grind hard, well done, sir, and welcome to the freaking well show. And party central to my well ones, a night of violated hell codes. Dope sells like the charge do, but selling's all about potential.
So Amazon, we've been doing it for like probably 6 or 7 months now. Yeah, it's been crazy. Things really snowball. It's crazy to look back at like where I was 6 months ago and like the kind of things that were getting me excited now. But yeah, I really just started all the way back. It was like I found Reezy and Rakin, and obviously that video that you did with Rakin was like the 23-year-old bookseller that's making or selling like $20,000 a month in used books. When I saw that, I was like, okay, I really got to start doing this shit, because just like your guys' energy in that video was something that I resonated with personally.
You're like, if these two fucking idiots can do it, probably figure this shit out.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw that video, and then, yeah, you were a big inspiration for me with books starting out, for sure. So yeah, I definitely in the beginning overanalyzed way too much. I definitely wish I started, just like went to the thrift store right away. But yeah, that's basically how it started, just walking into Goodwill with my seller app. And I found another kid there that was scanning books actually. And I was like, you got Scout IQ? And he's like, yeah. So yeah, that's basically how it started. And then throughout the winter, I was driving all over the place, like in like winter storms, like driving 2 hours to go to Goodwill. And looking back, like it probably wasn't the most efficient use of my time, but I think that hard work has definitely set a precedent for like things in the future.
Yeah.
Because like,
were you listening to podcasts at all, or like audiobooks?
I want to a lot more. I definitely I was listening to the Buy Box Bandits a lot when I was starting out.
But like when you were sourcing, would you like put headphones on?
Yeah, I didn't really start like sourcing OA like efficiently until like probably 2 or 3 months ago.
Gotcha. The one thing that the reason why I allowed myself to go into a thrift store for 4 or 5 hours a day starting out, and the same reason why I was okay with cutting grass, that was my first business, was landscaping. The whole reason why I was okay with working this $12 an hour job was because I would just listen to podcasts all the time. Yeah. Like that's the first time I listened to Naval Ravikant. Great podcast, like How to Get Rich, every episode. I still listen to that one. And I knew that what I was doing was like, I would see like the old people at McKay's, the bookstore near me, and I'm like, these old fucks are doing what I'm doing, and they're probably making like $20 an hour at the end of the day. Yeah. But number one, I scanned faster than they did, and number two, I was like learning so much the whole time that's what allowed me to keep going. But so yeah, if you're out there sourcing, if you're in the field, OA is a little different. When I do OA, I gotta I can't have anything on. I just gotta focus on, because I'm thinking the whole time. But with books, it's scan. If it dings, who gives a fuck? It's $1. Put it in the cart, buy it.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I loved about it. Was just the grind. Yeah, I was listening. I always had music playing or a podcast. So yeah, it's really, you're enjoying your time. You're working hard. And it's definitely a great way to start. I remember I met this old guy at a Goodwill, and I actually drove like 40 minutes to like his old barn somewhere, and he had a bunch of like old cookbooks out there. And I probably made like $500 off the trip, but it was just like a cool experience and a memory that I'll look back on and be like, what the hell was I doing? But
I mean, $500 is fucking $500, dude. That's like a doctor's salary. Like, honestly, like it's actually ridiculous.
It's just crazy to look back at like my mindset then versus now. Like, I thought people probably think there's like some special trick to everything. I was like, oh, I bet there's someone like finding all the good books here somehow. But it's really just trial and error, and opportunities will come the harder you work at it.
Yeah. So when did you start doing OA? And you've learned pretty quickly. Yeah, tell us a little bit about Online Arbitrage.
So I met Miles and you, obviously, and a couple other guys probably in February. And I got their course, obviously. This isn't a roadmap plug, but I got it for like $170, I think, when it was first out, like, to the Discord members.
Ask for that Billy discount, they'll hook you up.
Yeah. So yeah, I got that, and obviously there's also so much free stuff out there on YouTube. So yeah, I was watching all that stuff, but still doing books, because what I wish I would have done was work like a minimum wage job at the same time, just to build up some more cash. But I was just like, the mindset was like, fuck that, like, I got doing this thing.
Do you really wish that though?
No, I don't. I don't. I don't. I really.
I just like intuitively knew, like, as even a young fucking kid, I was happy making like $8 an hour, cutting grass for myself. I would charge $20 for the yard and work like 3 hours by myself. Then I had to pay for gas, all that shit. The mower would break down. I'd spend 2 hours trying to fix it with like a stupid YouTube video. Like, but I just felt better about doing that than like working like for $10 an hour at, a real job. Like, I've never worked a real job in my life because I've always felt like a rip off.
It's a magical feeling too when you're starting out and turning those books into money. Like, I remember my first couple sales, like, I woke up and there was like 4 books sold, and I was the happiest person ever. But you really do earn every sale. Like, it's a grind when you're doing the cherry picking.
Yes.
And yeah, it is like, you can build out systems in the book business like you have, obviously. But I knew in the long run I wanted to get an online arbitrage. So I was learning while I was doing books. And I think that's why I'm able to, now that I have access to a lot more capital than I did at the start, then I'm able to confidently spend as much as I have. But yeah, the only reason I didn't get into OA faster is because of capital constraint. And then, yeah, I was just ripping books, and I still sell books today. Like, I still have probably 800, 900 books still active. So
yeah,
that hard work pays off with books. Like, it's good to have that nice foundation for sure.
So, I mean, you're doing pretty big spending now with Online Arbitrage. You spent $25,000 yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane. Like, imagine spending $25,000 on books. That would be 25,000 books.
yeah, and it's also tougher to like listing books, like, because there's obviously. It's just the thing that's so good about it is you have to. It's very like monotonous and simple, but you learn like the foundations of Amazon. It just makes you overall a better seller once you start to move into wholesale or OA. But yeah, there's a crazy opportunity a few days ago, and I took full advantage of it, and we'll see how it plays out. But
without describe, I mean, I know you don't want to give it away, but can you kind of talk about like the overall general, how you were able to spend that much in one day confidently? Like what led you up to that point in your life where you're like, all right, this is a good idea to spend $25,000.
Yeah, so I have been using the tracking spreadsheet. So I had a good collection of data from the small amount of OA that I had done, and books, obviously. So I had the numbers to go and show people, this is my business model. This is the data I'm looking at. This is where I'm purchasing things. So yeah, I was able to convince a family member to apply for a business credit card, the Amex Plum, which after 30 days, when your statement ends, you get another 60 days to pay after you pay the minimum. So it's almost 90 days really before you have to pay all that cash back. So that's obviously huge for online arbitrage, and the spending limits are pretty big at first. They're pretty lenient with that. So yeah, I was able to spend a good amount there, and then I found an investor also that gave me a loan at 7%, about 20,000. So yeah, I just kind of used the data that I had previously to kind of tell people, kind of this is what I'm doing, and
Yeah,
very
so it's from a website that you purchased from before.
Yeah.
There was a limited time sale. You probably sold a majority of the items in the past.
Yeah.
Or at least items like them. So I think that's really important with OA. And the big difference from OA versus books is like, as you have more sales data, it actually helps your business tremendously with the information you get from that. Whereas with books, it's like, with books, it's good because it's like, I got these books. It's good to know like this goodwill here is getting me most of my profit, but it's different. It's actually more valuable with OA because you're like, I've sold this item before and I can go back and buy 100 more. I sold 100 in a week. I can go back and buy 300 more. You can't necessarily do that with books. Occasionally, I'm using Channel Max right now. I have a video on it. We'll link the video below on my repricing strategy for books and a little bit of OA as well. I'm still figuring out the OA pricing strategy, but after talking with Billy and a few other guys, it seems like I should be a little bit more patient. I was being a little bit hasty. I wanted to sell all my OA items really fast, but I think waiting 90 days is a good rule. But anyway, Channel Max is cool. I'm not affiliated with this company. I don't get paid for recommending them. I just think they're really good. They've literally doubled my units sold in books. It's been pretty ridiculous. Scott Needham recommended them. Scott Needham's like a top 100 Amazon seller. He was top 10 Amazon sellers at one point. Anyway, if you go to Channel Max and you look at the report top sellers, it shows you your fastest moving inventory for the last 7 days or last 30 days. And occasionally books will come up and because of the revenue. It's based on revenue. And it'll say these 2 books made you $300. I don't really care with books because I can't find those books again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can't go back and buy that same book again unless I bought it from Online Arbitrage. But even then, the price isn't guaranteed, nor is the price guaranteed with Online Arbitrage. But what I found is once you kind of get the flow of OA, you know what websites are going to have sales. You know how to get sales people don't. And so it is more replenishable. Like some of these guys are selling the same product for months, if not years at a time. So it's really valuable information. Your own sales data is the most valuable information you have.
Something
like at the end of the day, fuck Keepa, fuck all that. If you know you sold something for a certain amount of profit, keep buying it.
That's there's 2 points. Like what you just said, I tweeted this before. I was like, the best way to know how many times an item is going to sell in 30 days is to buy it, list it, and see how many times it sells in 30 days from your store.
Yeah.
But the data is great, but there's that. And then another thing that clicked for me, I was talking to Miles, is like, how you go to Goodwill's and you know which sections are going to be good in your area, what days they're typically going to be bringing books out. You only get to experience those kind of advantages if you've been to that location multiple times. You've been hustling books for a few months. It's the same thing with OA. everything's about time in the market. You know, you got to be patient and consistent to start finding SKUs and products you can buy over and over again and start to build your business.
Right. Yeah, that's how, like, you only have 10 SKUs. It's crazy. Like, I don't know how many I have. But when all my items get active, I'll probably have at least 300. And so it's not that I want to build a business that has 300 ASINs. I just want to know which ones are good. And then I just want to cast my net as wide as possible, you know.
That's definitely valid.
But I'm going to have a lot of data from all that, you know. So I don't even care if I break even on my first go.
And then you
because
can
I have all
whittle
the
that list down to
profit.
Yeah, you whittle that list of 300 down to 100 items that are printing for you.
Exactly.
Cast another net out there.
Exactly. Well, thanks for coming on, Billy. They can find you everywhere: Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat.
No, that's that. Maybe this semester. We'll see.
Yeah, all of his social will be below. We also shot another video if you guys want to check it out, where Billy actually looks at products that I'm going to purchase today. It's called Smash or Pass with Billyflips. Check that out. That'll be below as well. And yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
100%.